So the tournament starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. The name of our film is The Night Before the End, and it is a horror film by Graveyard Productions, which is myself, Abraham, and Reagan. Why did we choose a horror? Well, in a group, before we did actually choose to do a horror, we discussed what kind of elements we like to see in films, and we found that the most common elements that came up in the films were we'd like to see tension, we'd like to see something scary, some form of horror, and we decided to create a horror film as a group because we felt that we could make it very effective, and because there's so many different ideas which you could create with a horror film. Our film concept is basically, our film is about a boy who took a shortcut home because he was tired, and he ended up meeting a satanic cult in the graveyard, which he took the shortcut through, and the satanic cult then possessed him. In our narrative, you can see that towards the end of the film, which we won't see because of the opening sequence, but they actually used him because he was a popular boy in his community, and when they used him, they were able to possess him to get him to possess his community, which then just began to expand. And as more people got possessed, they were able to start an apocalypse and end the world and begin to rule another one.
The inspiration from our film, the inspiration we got from Night of the Living Dead, because the setting is mostly in the graveyard, and that's something we like to recreate.
Also, we find that the Night of the Living Dead is very similar to the narrative which we have. If you have watched the Night of the Living Dead opening sequence, when they do drive into the graveyard, a zombie does come out and kind of frighten everyone. I feel like it's very similar, which is why it's an inspiration for our film.
The location, first of all, we had 4 different locations, which were Victoria Park, Mer Street Graveyard, London Fields, and Mabley Green. But we chose Mer Street Graveyard. This is because of the title of our opening scene where it's based, and the location of that will be in a graveyard. So I thought picking Mer Street will make everything go together and work well.
And also the satanic cult, we thought of them coming from the dead and taking control of the boy, and also Tericho said, inspiring all his friends to join the cult as well.
The technology we will need is the simple and basic things of a camera, a microphone, a SD card, which will save whatever we record, and probably a light.
Also,
a torch light, probably.
The light would be very helpful because in order to create the scene and make it look very naturalistic, we will have to record it in the evening, and by using a light stand, we'll be able to at least make everything very clear for the audience to see when watching the film. We'd also we want to have an uncomfortable score. This is a very eerie sound, very scratchy, something that makes you shiver in your seat. This is because as much as it may seem uncomfortable, it will draw the audience towards the film even more. And we feel like by having some form of worship from the satanic cult, it kind of gives the audience an idea of what our film is about. So for example, if you do see them in the graveyard and they're humming, for example, then you can tell that something bad's going to happen. For example, they might possess someone, but also it raises the enigma codes which are found in the horror sequence. If you'd like to ask any questions, please do.
Anyone?
Go on, Sean.
Is this an urban horror or how can I explain it? Is it urban with urban characters or
Yes, so
new?
So it has a very not Victorian, but kind of old storyline, however created with urban characters. For example, the satanic cult may be wearing hoods, dark hoods, over to cover their eyes, and we will have a young boy in kind of very modernized clothing.
And also in our dream cast, there's going to be a leader of the cult. There's going to be 4 cult members. The leader is going to be a female leader. This is subverting the gender stereotype that cults are controlled by males, and also in the other members of the cult, they're going to be of different like statures and heights, showing that it's not a normal
Horror
cult.
movies are quite hard to execute, so how would you guys just really make sure that you give your audience that fear factor?
Well, one thing which is hard to do when creating a horror film is to stop the audience, prevent the audience from laughing. And so I feel like to put the boy in a serious position will make it less funny, and to find good actors in order to execute it properly, then we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Does anyone else have any more questions? Go on, Sean.
Do the characters, like, because it's a horror, you would expect the character to be scary. Does the character have some sort of appearance? Do they have to have
The characters are going to be, as Tericho said, in cloaks. So it's not really about their faces that you see. It's going to be of their shapes and sizes. They're not going to be normal. So the young boys will be frightened.
In case of the same situation you just spoke about, we will have makeup done on the characters to make them look either dead or pale, or just to show that they're not like modern day humans. Does anyone else have any more questions?
I have a couple for you. You mentioned George A. Romero as one inspirational director. What other films did you look at in particular?
We didn't look at any other films apart from Night of the Living Dead.
Okay. Characters, you didn't talk about dream cast. So, if I gave you a big budget for this, who would you cast and why?
Abraham did research on that.
The guy's name, his surname was Karlhoff. He starred in Frankenstein movies, and also was in many other horror movies, and he's a great actor.
Also, going back to your question, sir.
Yeah.
I researched on, what do you call it? Scary movie. And you see the scene where the lady is in the kitchen, and there's a guy outside just wandering around the house making phone calls to her. So, and as you couldn't see his face as he had the mask on, I was able to use that I picked up a couple things which I know that would go well with our opening scene. That's the reason why there won't be any faces and just shapes. Mostly,
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Just got one more for you. What's different about your plot then?
What's different about it?
Yeah, what's your unique selling point then? Why would I go see this and not just watch another zombie film?
Because it is not an average horror film. It's very modern. I think it's kind of got aspects of it which aren't horror. However, there's still the scare factor in the film. So some people may not enjoy watching horror films, but this is a horror where you can still go in and you can watch it, and it's not as scary or as traumatizing as, for example, The Grudge or Paranormal Activity.
And also, there's going to be no dialogue in our opening sequence. We're going to use subtitles.
Okay. Okay, bro. Alright, thank you very much.
Thank you.